Today we want to share with you our story and tell you why we are here. We won't speak for too long, as we are too well aware of the important input from our guest speakers, but I'll begin with a bit of background information. My wife Gemma and I began renovating a home for ourselves outside Cleator in 2007. We had been together for 6 years at that stage, and we were planning for a future together. While our friends were going travelling the world and doing all the fun things people in their 20s do, we were toiling away and putting all we had, financially, physically and emotionally, into what we considered to be our future family home. We were being sensible and hopefully setting out on the right path.
We worked tirelessly, in blissful ignorance of what was actually occurring around us. And it wasn't until just before our first Christmas in our home in 2010, a leaflet was dropped to our door with scant details about a wind farm extension in the townlands of Cryshane. The term extension baffled us, as there were no turbines in our area at that time, and we, nor our neighbouring relatives, had heard of any such developments. But with it being Christmas week, our wedding plans in full swing, the letter was put in the drawer, as we then, like many still, had no idea of the truth behind turbines, other than the usual comments as to whether they were ugly or not so ugly. The third week of January, looking out my kitchen window at the beautiful wild landscape I had come to love, I witnessed unusual machinery and workers on the move. Immediately, the letter in the drawer sprang to mind. I rang Sean in distress. Was this where this wind farm extension was going to be?
The answer we found out was no. But what we uncovered from then onwards turned into what we can only describe as a nightmare we cannot wake from. The beautiful hillside beside our home wasn't where the extension would be. It was, however, we're planning for a wind farm of 15 110-metre turbines had been granted in 2009, 920 metres from our home. And we were completely uninformed, clueless and bewildered. We began our own investigation. The planning office told us we were the lucky ones, as 920 metres was a very acceptable distance. The question I asked then, and still ask now, is acceptable by whose standards? The nightmare didn't end there. 14 100-metre turbines passed behind our home, with the proposed extension for a further 9 120.5-metre turbines to encircle us. And the list we unearthed went on and on and on. 55 turbines passed and 56 within planning stages. A total of 111 turbines within a 4-mile radius. Our homes and the homes of others trapped within a ring of steel, and we left powerless. How did this all happen? How did we not know?
This, folks, is the story you will hear and have heard in every area where this happens. The same underhand tactics deployed in covert exercises by the powerful consortium of the wind industry to exploit the good nature of our rural people. Good, decent and hard-working farmers, misled by the industry propaganda, and I believe lied to, signed into contracts that left them legally gagged and tied, all the time believing they were being paid to save the planet. How acceptable that offer would have been to any of us at that time. Neighbours, unaware of what was really coming their way. A selected few bribed into silence with the carrot of free electricity or one-off token sums, and the promise of turbines being clean and green and in no way a threat to them. All carried out in hushed tones, which of course was all I believe, to ensure the inevitable fracture and shattering of a community once strong and thriving.
Right now, 34 of those 111 turbines are operational, and we, like so many around us, are suffering the devastating effects. 14 turbines, with the closest 1,700 metres from our home, keep us awake on average 2 to 3 nights a week, and are constantly droning on at almost every moment of the day. Our nieces and nephews that come to visit are afraid to play outside when what they describe as the monster noises are there. We of course contacted Environmental Health regarding the noise, and were aghast to be told the developments in our area had been granted planning approval to operate without noise constraint. And to add further injury, we were informed that the Environmental Health Department did not have the appropriate equipment to monitor wind turbine noise, and so referred this to the wind farm developers, who then employ their own noise consultants to carry out the investigations and then pass their data on to Environmental Health. It goes without saying that I, like many, am forced to question the credibility of these findings.
We are now left completely stuck in a house we can no longer call home. We can't stay, we can't sell. We are broken financially, mentally and emotionally. Our hard work, our hopes and dreams for our future are all disappearing in front of our eyes. And we know we don't have the monopoly in this suffering. Many others are here today. Talk to them. Hear their stories also. Good people, suffering in isolation with no one to help. And let me make this clear. The victims of this government-funded, man-made disaster include your neighbouring farmer, who now finds himself in the dreadful situation of having so unknowingly inflicted this terror on his rural family. Just imagine that feeling. And the industry sits back and witnesses neighbour turn on neighbour, and they and the other true inflictors of this disaster remain protected and faceless as they reap their rewards, while we, the indigenous rural dwellers, have been neglected and abandoned, staring into a future of eviction by stealth. Who is going to protect us? Or will the Judas exercise of what appears to be the polished silver from the industry being doled out in the guise of community benefit funding excuse us as the collateral damage?
We have met with our councillors and made them aware of our plight and highlighted some of the serious planning irregularities we are aware of in our own area. We have asked for their assistance. We have asked them to step back and look at this impartially. We now ask them and all our elected representatives to stand with us in the fight to save our homes. I believe that someday there will be answers sought for this violation of our human rights in a court of law. Until then, we must stand up and stand together and ensure this suffering is not hidden from public attention, as it has been for too long. The following speakers will inform us of the facts, and to each of you I say, learn from this, educate others, and above all, call for justice to be done.
We say, call for a complete cessation of all development of wind turbines, a moratorium of all developments pending, approved or under construction, until a full and independent investigation is undertaken into the reality of the serious health issues in relation to wind energy.
Thanks very much, Sean and Gemma McGlinchey.